to my channel. If you are new, my name is Courtney. I do lifestyle content here on my channel, a lot of food related stuff. I do a lot of what's for dinner videos and grocery hauls. Sometimes I toss in some other stuff. If you're into that kind of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up with all of the things I have going on, and make sure you smash that like button just because it really helps my channel out and it really helps with like the YouTube algorithm. My video gets seen a little bit more the more likes it gets. So help me out. Let's get my video out there. Anyway, today is my weekly What's for Dinner video. This is actually one of my favorite videos. I love watching What's for Dinner videos just because I like seeing what like real people are cooking in their homes. You know, it's fun watching like Food Network and things like that and seeing the really cool things they're doing with food, the really cool dishes they're making, but like how many of us are actually cooking like, you know, crab and lobster and steak every single night? Yeah, we have it sometimes, but not all the time. I'm looking for relatable recipes that I can make for my family 7 nights a week. Sometimes I want quick ones, sometimes I want cheap ones, sometimes I want semi-fancy. It just really depends, but I love a good What's for Dinner video because it's what we're all making in our home kitchens for our families. So this week I am sharing a couple of recipes with you guys. I didn't have like a full 6 or 7 meals this week. If you've been watching, you know, we do a lot of leftovers and stuff like that. And currently this season of life has been super busy. My kids are in a lot of activities. They've been like kind of running all over the place. Things are starting to slow down because it is summer. And of course, a lot of activities are letting up. But this week has also been really, really busy. We ended up taking our 2nd week off from homeschool. We didn't take our breaks during the year like I had planned. So we're actually owed a few extra weeks actually at this point. We do homeschool year round. So we'll start back up next week and go for a few weeks. We'll get another break. And then we'll finish out the year and be ready to start back again at it in August. My kids will be going into 3rd grade. I can't even believe it. Seems like just yesterday they were like toddling around in diapers. But yeah, they will be heading into 3rd grade. Anyway, we are doing a lot of summer fun stuff just because there's a lot of stuff going on where we live and we love that kind of stuff. If you're interested in seeing all the fun activities, we're doing like Family Fun Fridays at our local museum. Make sure you are following me over on Instagram. I'll pop the link probably somewhere above my head so you guys can check out my Instagram page. I am sharing all the fun we have and things like that. Anyway, this week's meals were so delicious. I think it's like 4 recipes. It wasn't a whole ton. One of them is a lunch that I made for my husband, which I tasted and it was absolutely delicious. If you like ramen and noodle bowls and stuff like that, this is a recipe for you. Super simple, super easy. My oldest just, he loved it because that's his favorite kind of food. The lemon or the garlic butter chicken bites. Those were delicious. I will also link the recipe for the original recipe down below, and I'll let you know what I changed because I was like in the middle of cooking going, nah, and I just kind of veered off and did my own thing. Super, super delicious. And it worked out well because that particular day, one of my kids was really sick with a migraine, and then my husband got a migraine. He like never gets migraines. I get migraines, Camden gets migraines. My husband, not so much. So it was one of those days where fresh tasting lemon chicken with some broccoli and rice was like the perfect thing to serve because a couple of people in my house were just not feeling fantastic that day. Tonight's meal, which I'm about to make, it is actually Friday for me. Y'all are seeing this on Sunday. This is the last meal on this video. I'm gonna make some sausage, pepper, and onion sandwiches. It's later in the afternoon. We have been out all day. And then my kids have a party at their martial arts school tonight. So I'm trying to like prep dinner so I can just reheat it later for myself and my husband. My oldest has inventory where he works. My kids will be at the party. So I'm just trying to get this prepped and ready to go. But these are a family favorite. I've been making these for years. They're simple. They used to be super cheap, but now with kind of the cost of things, I can't exactly say they are super cheap anymore, but they're definitely cost effective and the meal goes a long, long way. What I make tonight, a bunch of us can eat on for the next few days, which is super fantastic. Anyway, that's enough chatting. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. Take a look at all these meals that I made this week. So this first dish I'm making is actually a lunch I made for my husband for the week, and it made plenty, especially because it was only a 4-day work week. So my oldest son got to eat a lot of it as well, and he was super thrilled because he loves noodle bowls. This was really, really good. The original recipe I will link down below. It's like Mongolian beef noodles or something like that. I'm starting off with ground turkey. 1, it's cheaper, and 2, it's healthier. So I just went ahead and browned it up in a skillet. So while it was cooking, I got started on the sauce for the noodles. It's pretty basic stuff. Most of us already have all of this in our pantry. I made some beef broth. I don't keep it on hand. I just mix the powdery stuff with the water, and then I added in some ginger and some garlic, some brown sugar. We're gonna toss in some soy sauce and then some hoisin sauce. As you can see, mine kind of leaked all over my finger. That's okay. Sometimes cooking gets a little bit messy. And then that little jar I have right there is called Culinary Crunch. It's like red pepper flakes and garlic and onion, and it's like crispy, and then it's in an oil. So delicious. You guys have probably seen it if you watch my grocery hauls. We absolutely love it. I'm adding some of that in for the heat level, but if you don't have that, like sriracha or some ball or something like that would be just as good. And then of course I added in a little bit of regular cracked black pepper. Then I'm going to mix this all together. So now let's hop back over to the stovetop. My turkey's finished cooking, and if there's any extra grease or liquid, just go ahead and drain it or soak it up with a paper towel. And then I have a bag of stir-fry vegetables. I think it was called like broccoli stir-fry, and I just went ahead and tossed it in. It is absolutely frozen solid. That's okay. It's going to cook and do its thing. Once it is completely thawed and the water has kind of evaporated from the pan, I went ahead and added in that sauce that you just saw me make. And we're going to let this simmer on the stovetop for a little while. I'm also going to thicken it up a little bit here in just a minute with a cornstarch slurry, just because I wanted the sauce to be thicker. And I did add in a little bit of sesame oil. That's what you saw just now, because I'm going to be pouring this over noodles, and I'm just using fettuccine noodles because that's what I had. They're super starchy. I wanted to make sure that there was some oil in here to kind of help everything not just clump up together and get all sticky. So my noodles are done, and I have drained them, and I'm just pouring that turkey vegetable sauce mixture over the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and just mix it really, really well. It looks like a lot of sauce, but these noodles are like 95% done. The carryover heat here in the pan is going to go ahead and let them finish cooking, and they're going to soak up the last of that really hot sauce and make them super yummy and super delicious. And then I just package them up in these little dishes like that. So tasty. And this works great for a reheatable lunch throughout the week. Okay, so on to our first dinner here. I actually have a couple of dinners to share this week because, like I said, it was a busy week. This one was so delicious, though. So I'm making like a knockoff of homemade rice Aroni. I've got some plain white rice that I rinsed really, really well. I put it in my skillet with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter, and I'm just kind of sauteing it and getting a little color on the outside of it. Once you start to see, like, it'll turn transparent, and then you'll see like a little bit of golden coming around the edges, you're exactly where you want to be. So while that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and season this up with some pepper, and then I have this garlic herb seasoning. Any kind of seasoning mix you want would be great, or you could just add in like some garlic and Italian seasoning. Whatever you like is perfectly fine. And this is just what I had on hand, so I'm going to toss that in. Like Badia Complete, if you've got something like that, would be really good. I bet some Auntie No-Nos. Anyway, I did not put any salt in. 1, my seasoning mix has salt, and 2, I just added chicken broth. I use the powdery stuff that you mix, or the chicken base. It's super, super salty, so I did not add any salt to mine. I did add in about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So while the rice is finishing, we're going to make like a little simple breading for our chicken. I have some plain flour, and then I added some of that garlic herb seasoning I put in the rice. And then I'm going to add in some Parmesan cheese and shake all this up just so this is a really great coating. I have some chicken breast that I cubed up into bite-sized pieces in a zip top bag, and I'm going to shake it around with that coating mix that we made. The original recipe for this is garlic butter chicken bites, and I'll link it down below. I changed some things. I'll list what I changed in the description box below so you guys can see it. I turned this into like a lemon garlic butter chicken bites. Anyway, once I had everybody nicely coated in the zip top bag, I used a slotted spoon to get the chicken pieces out. That way I didn't get any of the excess flour. And I placed them in a hot skillet with a little bit of oil in the bottom. And then we're just going to cook these so they get like a nice, beautiful golden brown outside on them. I did mine in a couple of batches. I did not want to overcrowd the pan because I do not want to steam the chicken. I want it to have a nice textured outside. I want that color, and the only way to get that is to make sure that your pan is not overcrowded. So for me, I only had like a couple of chicken breasts. So I only did like 2 batches, I think. That guy was a little naked when he came out of the bag, so I just sprinkled a little flour on the outside of him, and I think it worked out just fine. Anyway, they only take a few minutes to cook. They're small bites of chicken. So once they have cooked nicely on the first side, just go ahead and flip them over. That way we can get even browning on both sides. It didn't take long, and the batches that I did altogether didn't take long. This actually came together very quickly. I did prep the rice and the coating early in the morning because it was Wednesday and we had an early class day, and it's right around dinner time. So I was trying to get everything prepped so I could just come right home, toss things in a skillet and go. And this worked out perfectly. Like I said, it comes together super, super fast. I was really pleased with it. But again, cook the chicken until it has like some nice color on the outside. You can see the color I'm developing there. That flour really browns up beautifully in the oil. Just use any neutral oil you want, or olive oil. I used olive oil because it was next to my stove. Once all your chicken's done, add it all back into the skillet, which is what I'm going to do right now. It's got gorgeous color on it and it's ready to move along. And then we're going to go ahead and just sprinkle a little extra flour on top here. This is where I definitely deviated from the original recipe. We're making a sauce now. There was not a sauce in the first one. So add that flour on the outside, just a little bit extra because we're making a roux with the leftover oil in the bottom of the pan. I didn't have enough that came off the chicken to thicken this well enough, so I did have to add extra. If yours is going to thicken up fine on its own, don't worry about it. I just didn't have enough extra flour coming off the chicken. Once your roux has cooked for just a couple of minutes without burning, just enough to cook off the flour taste, go ahead and add in some garlic. However much you want is fine. I'm pretty heavy-handed with garlic. You guys know that if you watch my videos, garlic's flavor, and it is delicious. I let that cook for probably about 30 or 45 seconds, and then added in an entire 16-ounce bag of frozen broccoli florets. I'm going to cook those for just like 1 to 2 minutes, and then add in some chicken broth that I made. Again, I just used the base and mix in water, and this is about half a cup of chicken broth. I'm going to add in some pepper. I didn't put any salt in because there's Parmesan cheese in the chicken coating, and there's the chicken broth, which is very salty. And then I added in like 3 to 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, and we're gonna let this cook until it thickens. And because we put that extra flour in there, it only takes a few minutes. It's gonna thicken up into a nice, beautiful sauce. And then I added about a tablespoon of butter in here just to kind of give it that beautiful, creamy glossiness. If you're trying to make a sauce, butter really helps make it all nice and glossy at the very, very end. And of course, I added some parsley just to kind of bring in a little extra greenery and color and herbiness, that earthy flavor. And dinner was done. That was it. All I had this night was the chicken and broccoli and the rice. We didn't really need anything else. This was absolutely perfect. It was super delicious, lots of flavor. And my husband requested I make it for his lunches, so that is how good it was. All right, guys. Here it is, avocado Alfredo. This is super simple. So this is all you need for it. Avocados, half and half, garlic, Parmesan cheese, salt, and pepper. You could add in other stuff if you wanted to. If you wanted to put like fresh basil or red pepper flakes or something like that, go for it. But really, this is what you need to make it taste like Alfredo. So we're going to puree those avocados right there with garlic, Parmesan cheese, salt, and pepper, just to kind of taste the way you want. Then we're going to thin it out with some half and half because it will be like fairly thick. And we want a sauce. So we'll thin it out just a little bit with half and half. Then I'm going to serve it over noodles with some shrimp. I peeled it, deveined it, did all the yucky stuff to it a little while ago because nobody wants to watch that. It is nasty. But anyway, it's all done. I'm going to toss these guys in a skillet with, I don't know, like salt, pepper, garlic. I don't know. We'll see. I'll show you. But I've got some water getting ready to boil on the stove right now so I can cook the noodles. So all in all, this meal will take as long as it takes me to cook the noodles. That's how quick and easy this is. Everything right here is just, aside from the shrimp, gonna go in my food processor. So yeah, here we go. All right, I have 3 avocados in my food processor. It's just my husband, myself, and my oldest. My younger 2 like butter noodles. So I'm just making this for the 3 grown-up people in the house. So I just did 3 avocados, 1 avocado a person. If you were using like the really big avocados, 1 avocado a person might be more than you want. I mean, it's a rich sauce, it really is. But these are just like regular avocados. So to that, I'm gonna add about 1 to 2 cloves of garlic in there. Of course, you could use garlic powder if you want to, totally up to you. I love this stuff, I use it all the time. I did forget to mention I am gonna add a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to add in a little bit of salt, but not much, because we're putting in Parmesan cheese and it's salty. So I am going to add in a pretty decent amount of pepper. Yeah, I like the pepper a lot. All right, I'm gonna add Parmesan cheese. If you had like regular shredded Parmesan cheese, even better, but all I have is the green shaker stuff. This one we all know and love, and that's fine. The fresh shredded is obviously better, but this works, it tastes great, and you know, it's shelf stable, so it lasts a long time in your house. I did about 2 or so tablespoons in there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add in a little bit of my half and half. It could be milk, almond milk if you want. You could do heavy cream, but it's gonna whip up and get frothy and not really thin this out the way you want, so keep that in mind. That's why I do half and half. By doing it this way, we can also cut out a little bit of the fat in the recipe, but I'm gonna put the lid on, I'm gonna blend it up, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, it's all blended up. It's still really, really thick, but when it hits the hot noodles, the oil and the avocado, the fat in it's gonna like loosen up and it's gonna make this beautiful sauce. So at this point, just taste it, make sure it has the amount of salt you want, or the amount of garlic that you want. If you want to put spice in it, some red pepper flakes or whatever, just taste it to make sure you got the heat level where you want. But that's it, it's super simple. It comes together really, really fast. And I mean, it's healthier than regular Alfredo because you're using avocados instead of a whole bunch of heavy cream. So that's it for the sauce. Let's work on the shrimp. All right, let's go ahead and cook the shrimp. I'm gonna keep this simple because it's gonna be mixed with that sauce. I think I'm just gonna go with salt, pepper, and garlic. And I think what I'm actually gonna do is just cook the shrimp with salt and pepper on it, and then toss in some garlic in the last like minute or so that it's in the skillet, just to give it that flavor. And that's it, nothing more, nothing less. And then I'll serve it with the Alfredo pasta and it'll be super yummy. That'll be dinner. I have some garlic bread in the oven too. But I mean, that's really all there is to it. So that's dinner tonight. All right, guys, last meal of the week. This is a family favorite. I have been making this for years. Originally, it was like so cheap. So a long time ago, back, I don't know, before 2008, you could get this sausage for like $1 or less, or a sausage like this for $1 or less. So this meal was super cheap because you could get this. Onions were super duper cheap. You could get a green bell pepper for like a ridiculously cheap price. And then whatever bread I could get on the clearance rack. So I could make this meal for my family and make, I don't even know how many sandwiches for just a few dollars. Of course, now everything has gone up. The sausage was like $2.50, I think. I don't know how much an onion is. This bag of bell peppers was like $3. But I got the bread on the clearance rack for $2.30, which doesn't seem much like a clearance price to me, but I mean, it is what it is. So this meal is definitely a little bit more. I will also have some cheese that I put on here. The cheese is up to you guys, dealer's choice, right? I prefer like Swiss or mozzarella or something. Today I think I might actually be using Havarti, I'm not sure. But put on whatever cheese you want, or no cheese at all. You can add extra stuff to it. I may toss in a little bit of Worcestershire sauce just for some added flavor. But basically I'm just gonna chop all of these ingredients right here up And then I'm going to saute them in a skillet together with some salt and some pepper and maybe some Worcestershire sauce. Then I'm going to put them on a bun with a little bit of cheese, like maybe pop it in my air fryer for like 2 minutes just to melt the cheese. And boom, we've got dinner. I will serve it with some chips on the side, but if you want to be like super cheap about it, grab yourself a potato and just like cube it up and have some baked potato cubes on the side, you know, season them up with some oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder. Bake them at 400 degrees for like 30 minutes. Really, really delicious, super cheap, super easy for us because we're all in and out tonight. We got a bunch of stuff going on. It will be chips or fruit. But yeah, let's get started chopping. We're starting to get a little bit of color on the onions. Can you see it in there? So that means it's time to add the sausage, and we will just cook this until it gets a little bit of color. And once that happens, I will add in some Worcestershire sauce probably, because I think it just kind of makes it taste really, really good. Of course, you could add in like garlic or something if you want to, but this is the way I always made it because it was cheap and it was simple. And the way I'm making it tonight. One thing I've always had on hand was Worcestershire sauce, because I used to marinate meat with Worcestershire sauce and soy sauce, just to give it some flavor, because, you know, it gets boring eating the same thing all the time. But they were cheap to purchase, you know, you could always get, well, even today, like I can go to H-E-B and get Worcestershire sauce for $1 if I get the store brand. So that's something I always kept on hand. But like I said, I'll cook the sausage until it gets like nice and it kind of starts to brown a little. I don't want it to get too much color, but color's flavor, it's caramelization, and that's what I'm looking for. That's what makes this work. It's simple, but you're cooking in some flavor and it makes it really delicious. So I'll let it get to that point and I'll add the Worcestershire sauce, and then that'll be that. And we can put it on the bread and you can toast it if you want. I don't always toast mine, but I'm not a huge fan of toasty bread. It just, it doesn't feel great in my mouth. You know, when I'm having like toast, it's one thing, but for a sandwich and stuff, it's not always my favorite. So if I show you my sandwich, it's probably not going to be toasted, but if I show you someone else's, it'll probably look all nice and toasty and melty. So we'll see what happens and how things work out. But anyway, this is my simple dinner for tonight. This week. They were all really good. I can't complain. Like I said, I didn't cook as much as I had intended. I didn't make all the meals that I had planned, but that's okay. I mean, you know, life happens. My kids are only this age once. I want to be able to do the things with them as they come up and be involved in their activities, and sometimes that just means we eat extra leftovers, or, you know, I forgot Memorial Day was coming up, so we got to grill out for Memorial Day, which was actually fantastic. If you've watched my channel, you know I absolutely love it when my husband makes burgers, and he grilled burgers and sausage for us. So that was definitely worth not cooking the meals on my meal plan to get his amazing burgers. They were so delicious. And if you watch my grocery hauls, I think it was last week, I got some sausage at H-E-B. It was like jalapeno pepper sausage. Okay, if you live near an H-E-B, go buy that sausage. It is so incredibly delicious. I'm not gonna tell you it tastes exactly like a jalapeno popper, but I will tell you, it is definitely worth the $6.68 they are charging. There's so much flavor. The heat level is perfect. It is just incredible. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about the meals today. All I have to say, I said a lot of things today. Anyway, like I mentioned before, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and like the video, and go ahead and hop on over on Instagram and follow me there. We can kind of like hang out and get to know each other. Anyway, that will do it. I hope you guys all have a really, really wonderful week. I hope you are enjoying your summer. I think at this point, everybody's out of school. Summer's kicked off for pretty much everyone, so I hope y'all are all having a really, really great time. I hope you have some fun summer plans, you know, things that you're gonna be doing. I don't know if you're gonna be hanging out with your kids or going on vacation or whatever, but I hope it is a super fun summer for all of you guys out there. I will see you guys back here on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday for my weekly grocery haul. You'll have a good one, guys. Bye.